Thanks, Adrian. Kia ora koutou, ko Kelly Skelton tōku ingoa, ke te kaimahi aho ki Tāmaki Pāingahira. So, hi everyone, I'm Kelly Skelton. Can you all hear me all right? Yeah? Great. I'm part of the team at Auckland Museum leading digital experience across the organisation. And I'm really excited to be able to be part of this digital labels double session, which is exciting. It really is proving to be a popular topic at the conference. So Amos is obviously talking next about, and the Te Papa team, about their development with the Tupaia nature digital labels. And so I'd encourage you to stay and listen to what he's got to say. And then also Emily and the Curio team are doing a demo this afternoon at 2:30 where you can use their platform to create your own interactive digital labels, so that's probably worth checking out too. So I guess digital labels are definitely a thing. They're not a new thing, but museums have been producing digital labels for years. So why? Well, I really like this excerpt from a blog by Karen Price from Te Papa. This was from May last year, about why do we need digital labels. So obviously labels are used so that visitors can understand more about an object or an area within the museum, but when there's a mass display of objects, there's really limited real estate for copy and context around those. So that's where digital labels present an opportunities for visitors to explore an object in greater detail and for us as a museum to provide them with more of that content. So what I'm going to do today is share with you our digital product development journey in Auckland Museum, and then we'll actually take a look at the digital labels within the Carried Away exhibition. So David Gamester, he's our Chief Executive. He joined Auckland Museum in early 2017 and he developed a 5-year strategic plan of which there are 6 key pillars. And the fourth one of those 6 is to lead a digital museum revolution, which is incredibly aspirational, but what it did do for us as a museum and then significantly for us as a digital team were a couple of things. So firstly, it set digital experience as a priority. And the key headline within the strategy is we'll make technology an integral part of the museum experience. And the second key thing was it actually kicked off an organisation-wide restructure, which has had its ups and downs, to say the least, like many restructures. But what it has done is it's really allowed us to grow our digital team, and we've been really, really fortunate to do that. And I also should say that David Gamester also said to me on a number of occasions that he really, really was keen on digital labels. And so we took that on board. We recognised the importance and value that it could provide to visitors, so we pursued it. So over 2 years ago, we were planning for our new long-term permanent galleries, our short-term exhibitions, and looking at opportunities for digital within our existing galleries that haven't actually changed for a long time. So we held a series of internal workshops with stakeholders, as you do, to really start defining our approach. And we ended up with quite a simple concept of 2 things. So the first was these one-off, bespoke, wow moments for visitors. And then on the other side of that is a digital product toolbox, we called it. So we were looking to create a set of products that we can reuse, that'd be really streamlined and allow us to create a lot of efficiencies when we're developing new exhibitions and galleries. So in the toolbox, we included a list of potential products. So this included things like the labels, interactives, audio guides, digital maps, and collectible content. Then we define how we'd use the toolbox. So when a new gallery is being developed, we'd put our toolbox on the table and we would collectively, as a group across the organisation, select products that we could easily roll out and that would work best for the object interpretation, for storytelling, and for visitors to digest. So, and the intention was that these would not be big one-off wow moments for visitors within the gallery. So we did more workshops and we worked through a lean canvas for each product. Here's one for the audio guide, and I had to share this one, Holly will remember this, with the best comment from Nils, who was our digital experience manager at the time. What is it not? A crazy zombie thing. Well, I mean, it could work. It could have been, it could be a cool, crazy zombie thing. But we didn't end up doing that. We did go ahead and develop this audio guide product for our Hei Taonga Māori gallery, and we're in the process of kicking off another audio guide. So that's really exciting. So the next cab off the rank for us was our mass display digital labels. And this was mainly driven by the fact that we were rolling out and planning our new learning base gallery, which has a huge, take up the space of this whole wall, Wandakama wall full of objects. And that was a real feature in the new gallery. So what we did is we talked to the gallery renewal team, and rather than just developing a one-off bespoke experience, we decided to take the opportunity and actually to build this as a product during that development process. We did a lot of work looking at options for the software platform that our digital labels would sit on, and we had several sessions with the Tupaia team and Springload. They're the digital agency that they work with to develop their Te Papahiko platform. And it's a great platform. Just at the time, it wasn't quite right for us, and the main issue there was that there was no CMS, and I know that Amos and the team are changing that. But for us, that meant that there was a reliance on developers, and we did not have developers at the time. So we wanted a platform and a product that we could actually easily roll out and change the content ourselves. We also looked at off-the-shelf products, but those as well weren't flexible and they just weren't quite right for what we needed at the time. So when we weighed everything up, we had budget to do the work as part of Learning Base, and we had buy-in from across the organisation to develop this product as part of the gallery. So that's what we did. So we went out to RFP and we eventually selected Method as a vendor. They're an Auckland-based digital creative development agency, and we'd worked with them on a number of projects before. And included in the brief for Method was that we wanted a clean, simple, elegant design and user experience, and really versatile, so that we could roll that out and use that across the museum in various situations and various galleries. It wasn't unique to that specific gallery. So Method were brave enough to take up the challenge, especially because one of the key requirements was that it was built within our Kentco website content management system. And that was a challenge, because Kentco developers are not everywhere. So they had a challenge there in actually helping us deliver that within that platform. And we had a few hurdles along the way. One of the significant ones was that the opening date of the gallery was pushed out by not just a month or a few weeks, by 18 months. So we had developed the product, and it's done, it's sitting there, but the gallery actually isn't opening until late next year. So we'd produced this product, this experience, but it wasn't actually doing anything or wasn't being used. So, however, luckily we're doing lots of temporary exhibitions, and so we worked with our exhibitions team, and they were developing a new temporary exhibition featuring objects from our applied arts collection. So they chatted to us, we reached into our trusty toolbox, and there's our mass display digital labels. So we were excited. We pretty quickly had an opportunity to reuse the product for that exhibition. So let's have a look now at the exhibition, and this is a marketing video, so it's not specifically about the labels, but it might just give you a bit of context in terms of the exhibition itself. So it is a really beautiful, elegant exhibition, and it showcases over 150 individual bags from our applied arts and design collection, many that are on display for the first time. It opened in mid-June and it closes really soon, actually, on next Sunday, 1st of December. So the exhibition unpacks the stories associated with the creation of the taonga, the bags, and the people that use them. So this is the main entrance from our ground floor Māori court gallery, and there's a secondary entrance as well, but this is the main one into the exhibition. And early observations from our visitor market research team are that people walk in, and you can go left or right, but most people go left. And there you can actually see, as soon as you walk in, you can see the first case of mass display objects right in front of you. But you're drawn into the room on your left. There's stunning AV displays and a soundscape, and there's really large, big, beautiful video walls throughout the exhibition that give context and a visual narrative to support the objects. So there's just a couple of images from those. And so here's the object cases. So the thematic structure organised the collections by their predominant construction material, plant, animal, synthetic and material. And there's 10 of these mass display cases throughout the exhibition, along with some hero objects and cases. And each mass display case has about, on average, 14 bags within them. And then there's a digital label, touchscreen interactive, that sits in the front of each one. So this shows an aerial view of the layout of the exhibition, and there's the main entrance at the top coming off Māori Court, and the secondary entrance on the left coming off a corridor or walkway, and the numbers relate to each of the 10 different screens. And we'll come back to this as I'll just share some insights a bit later on from the data we've collected. And the bag secrets that you'll see at the top, that's our big kind of one-off wow moment within the exhibition, where visitors can share what's in their bag. So I just wanted to quickly show you a couple of photos of this because it's been entertaining. So visitors place, these are two large bags. Visitors place an object onto the touch screen within each of the bags, and then a camera actually sits in the handle and takes a photo of the object, clear cuts it, and then it drops itself into the bag. So here's the visitors attempting a new version of a selfie. And this one's interesting. Spot the unusual live blue-tongued lizard that a visitor on opening night brought into the exhibition. I don't even know if they knew that this was an experience within the exhibition and whether this lizard is a constant companion. I have no idea. But anyway, let's get back to the labels. So with a mass display case, the focus is on the actual objects, and there's really limited space for label content. And here I just wanted to show you an example of an object in the case and the label to the left of it. So it includes the core information about the bag, but really there's no room to delve any deeper. So within this exhibition with so many objects, digital labels were really used as the main interpretive tool to deliver more content. They also give us the opportunity to serve content in other languages to reach non-English speaking audiences. So now I just want to show you a closer look at the actual product. So here's case number 10, which is the first case you encounter when you walk through the main entrance. And digital labels sitting in front of the case, and then here's a screenshot of the actual digital label homepage. So each object is positioned relative to where it sits in the case, so you can really quickly locate the object you want to look at more closely. Here's the interface. So you can see Method really listened to us when we said we want it clean and simple. There's nothing on there. There's just the objects. We really wanted that to be the case so that people know what to do on a touchscreen intuitively, and also to ensure that flexibility with the product in the future. So when you select an object, you arrive at the object landing page, and that's also a really simple UI, and it's here that the visitor can explore more. So we delve deeper into the stories about the object. So we repeat that basic information that's on the label in the case, but then here we get the opportunity to tell a bit more of a story. And this is a saddlebag from Iran, and in the case, you can only see the front of the bag, but here you can see the back of the bag, which is very different to the front. And then zoom in closer to see the really beautiful detail. And a massive thanks to our collection imaging team as well, who have taken all of these beautiful images. So the functions within the UI are really simple. So you can pinch and zoom by touch, or you can use the zoom in and out buttons. You can just swipe left or right to flick through the images, or you can use the arrows down the bottom. And there's a basic back function, which is the arrow at the top left, and the home button on the top right. So we spent a lot of time getting the transitions between images really smooth, the font and the image sizes right. So even though it's a fairly simple user experience, it wasn't that simple to deliver and to get right. Here's another case, number 6, just an example of the objects and content. And here, so you can see the underneath of the bag, which you wouldn't be able to see in the case. So I've mentioned that our brief was to build the digital labels within our Kentako content management platform, and that was to provide flexibility moving forward. And as you can imagine, with over 150 objects across 10 cases, it took a lot of time for the team to set up and each of the label grids and load all of the content and images. But it was really great because it meant that we weren't reliant on the vendor to do this, so it saved us money. And also when there were edits required, it meant we could turn those around really quickly. So just for those interested in the technical setup, so we're using the Kentako CMS to house the admin module and the REST API to draw in the content. And then the user interface has been developed in React, and we're using OpenSea Dragon for the pinch and zoom And the pages are served in the Chromium web browser. Then Site Kiosk is our security layer, and that locks down all of the devices. And for hardware, we're using either Nooks or the Gigabyte Bricks Pro PCs and ELO 24-inch touchscreens. So let's have a look. I'll just share a few insights with you. Across all of the touchscreens and carried away since we've opened, we've had over 260,000 page views in total. And that's about 1,700 total page views per day on average, which sounds like a lot, but it does actually line up with our visitation numbers. So for the whole exhibition, we've had close to 130,000 visitors so far. And I guess there's the fact that, when you go into an exhibition, if you're using the labels, you may use one, you may use more, but that's page views, remember. So it's actually about the number of images and different page views that people are actually interacting or viewing. Others obviously won't use the labels at all. And sometimes you'll just see kids, because this is an exhibition aimed at independent adults. Sometimes you'll see kids in there just swiping for the hell of it, as they do, because it's something that they can enjoy within the exhibition. And a really tricky thing, which we can't report on, is the average time users spend using the label, and that's because you can't tell what a session is within the space unless you do some qualitative research. And that's something I'm really looking forward to Amos talking about, because he's done some great observational qual research of viewing visitors within Tupaia. So just seeing how long they spend interacting with the label before they walk away. So stay tuned for that. But we can use these page views to tell us which labels were interacted with the most. So we'll have a quick look at that. And we'll just go back to our aerial view of the exhibition. So, no surprises. The most used digital label is number 10. So just remember the entrance is at the top there off Māori Court. And number 10 is that first case that you see when you walk into the exhibition. So it's really not surprising that that's the case that's been used the most. And then it's closely followed by 9, 8, 6 and 3, and then a kind of gradual decline to the end at number 4. Which has about half the number of page views as number 10. And because we haven't done a formative evaluation of this exhibition, it's not really possible to understand whether it's visitor flow or content that's dictating this, but we feel like it's a lot of visitor flow and most likely a combination of both of those things. So let's have a look at the most viewed objects, and just to note the difference between these is fairly marginal, but the third most viewed bag is this poha or kelp bag. It's used by Ngā Tahu iwi to store mutton birds, although this particular poha was likely to have been used for cooking. It's a really unusual, interesting object, and the second most viewed bag is this one, which is a dressing case with accessories, which is also really interesting. And then number 1, drum roll, is this one, made by Vita Cochrane, that we saw before in the marketing campaign, which is an accessory made of accessories. So also, that's kind of not surprising. It was used in our marketing campaign, so it could have been a reason why people were drawn in to see the exhibition. And if they'd seen that, then they may have wanted to look at that one specifically. So, just I guess digital labels have been really successful for this exhibition in saying that it wasn't all smooth sailing. And here you can see the developers troubleshooting issues a night or two before we opened the exhibition. We had one significant issue that caused the experience to crash continuously, and it was pretty stressful leading up to the opening. But thankfully, we got it resolved. But we also, being completely honest with you, we had issues, intermittent issues, after we opened the exhibition, and the web app would just freeze intermittently, randomly on one digital label over there, and then we would get that going again, and then the next day it would happen on that one over there. There was no rhyme or reason as to why that was happening, but it took us a while, but we got it resolved. And really what we learnt is that the issue came down to not allowing enough testing time before we opened the exhibition, and so we've changed the process significantly. So there's weeks built into the schedule for that. So there's testing time at the vendor, then it comes back to the museum, we test it in our lab, and then it goes into the gallery for stress and soak testing, and that's actually working really well. So, coming back to our toolbox, after the labels launched and carried away, we had another exhibition crop up where we needed an image gallery, and that was for our voyage to Aotearoa for Tupaia and the Endeavour. And the requirement was an interactive to showcase images from Sydney Parkinson's sketchbook. So it was a really similar interactive experience to the labels, but it had a few differences. And we quickly realised that our labels platform that we built wasn't scalable. So we used that design framework, but we created a simpler Kentco web app. So we removed the custom admin module and REST API, and we're just using the innate Kentco UI, and everything else is the same. So here's the image gallery interactive that's in the Tupaia show. It's got a basic homepage of images where you select one and then you land on the detail page. So you can see it's really, really similar, but there's just one image per item, not multiple images as per the labels. And you can scroll or use the arrows to go backwards and forwards and pinch and zoom. So we've also developed the multilingual functionality for this product, but it just isn't actually a requirement for this experience, but we will be using it in the future. And they're just stunning illustrations. So, wrapping it up, we've got our toolbox. We are going to get a better name for this because that's a bit basic. We've got our audio guides. We've got a touchscreen interactive suite. So that includes our labels, our image gallery, and we're just about to develop a video gallery. So that's for our new long-term exhibition that's opening late next year. And alongside all of that, we're working on the documentation for processes and looking at how we can streamline it to roll it out really easily in the future. And we also now have an in-house digital studio as well, which is great because that's helping us support our product development. Two more. We've got, just to show you, we've got loads of cases throughout the museum that we've identified would really benefit from digital labels. So this is one in our Arts of Asia gallery and here in Pacific Masterpieces. And the next step is for us to work with our exhibition colleagues and curators to support the gallery development program. So it's exciting to see the vision that we developed over 2 years ago come to life, and we've still got a long way to go, but we are making really good progress. And we've actually brought the labels with us, so they're at our stand up in Oceania. So if you've got time before we wrap up this afternoon, please come and have a look. We'd really love to have your feedback. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.